Morning all. Once again, Q&A time. Loads to talk about as usual. Right, I'm going to kick off with that thing we did about Paul Wilkins' dilemma. I did a video on it this week. There'll be a link. If you haven't seen it, you may want to watch the video. It's just a guy had a bit of an issue. I can't go through it again because it's too long. Basically, yeah, thanks very much for all your responses. What did we get back? Dolly Dalton and Godzilla and also Hot Wheel Nation kind of said, maybe think they've done out a bit of the cheap time. Dolly Dalton said they'd have quoted £400 because of the overnight thing. Godzilla says it's 2 days work there. You know, running in, running out, running in, running out. Sunday as well and Father's Day as well. And also Dolly Dalton, who's a new contributor to the channel. Welcome. Hello. Said something to watch as well, because bear in mind you're storing overnight. Your goods in transit doesn't necessarily cover that, because it does what it says on the tin. It's goods in transit. So if it breaks while you're driving, then it's covered. If that's a bit wonky. If it's nicked out your van overnight, it's not goods in transit. So that's something to consider, guys, when you're storing overnight. That's a very good point. Thanks, Dolly. Ian McBride said Ian McBride and also Joe Renner said, well, stay with the original price and just do the add-ons. You know, so I went in once, I got knocked back, 25 quid. Went in again at 1 o'clock, got knocked back, 25 quid. Went in again at 5 o'clock, had to wait till 8 o'clock, 3 hours, 75 quid. Storing overnight. You could do it that way. It is a bit of a grey area. There is no right or wrong on this one, I've got to be honest with you, I don't think. Tim Jones said they should have advertised it with a 40-minute collection window. Bearing in mind that they advertised it for 5 o'clock in the morning and he got it at 8 o'clock at night, they'd have had to advertise it with a 15-hour collection window, and that's a very big window. Yeah, hang on, sorry, I got a bit mixed up there. On the flip side of things, Con Daliv, sorry mate, I forgot it wrong, said he would have just done the job anyway, and said just charging the original price and gone, look, I understand that things go wrong, but I've done it. Bear me in mind in future. And I think there is a little bit of play in that. Now, I don't agree with you, I've got to be honest with you. If you do extra work, I think you are entitled to extra money. But at the same time, you say, like, you know, the right money on the job might have been 400 quid. He ended up with 290. I think he got messed around again. I think when he went to get a drop off or something, he had to wait to drop it or something like that. But you could turn around to him and say, look, I've done it. I will settle on 300. I know it's cheap, but you know where I am. So next time one comes up, I'll be the first, you know, ring me first, eh? So the truth lies somewhere in the meantime. Thomas Devlin also says, can I do a breakdown of pricing and extras? I wish I could. I wish I could just give you a chart and say, if you're here at this time, do that. But there is a video, and I'll find the best one I can, either one on waiting time or how to price a job. It should give you a rough idea, but it kind of, you have to go with your own gut feeling, and it's kind of something that comes. But I'll do the best I can. Have a watch whatever's up there now, and or was up there before. And hopefully it'll give you an indication. I'll do my best. Wimbledon, had a couple of little comments on Wimbledon. It was nice to be there. Yeah, sort of sunny day and no one around. It was very bizarre. Bob Keane, hello mate, part of the Bob Keane show, was at a Russian billionaire's house this week. He's dropping off tools. He said they're digging a pool out. He said, the other half, it's not like diggers everywhere. The place was massive. He said, wouldn't want to hoover it. We said, I wouldn't want to hoover it though. I have been to some impressive houses. And I'm always, every time I go to my house, I always, if I feel it's right, like, because you don't want to, I always tend to say, lovely home, well done. They tend to be really nice people as well, which makes it doubly irritating. You've got a nice house and you're nice. Owen Dolly Dalton says it's not backswing, it's backhand. I know nothing about sport. I'm rubbish at all sports. I don't watch any sport, I don't play any sport. My wife says it's the best thing about me. Petrol stations. This comment is interesting. Grant Milton, he says he's got the BT app, it's brilliant. The BP app, it's brilliant. I use BP all the time because my fuel card's BP. And I think you can pay ahead of time and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know if it works with a fuel card. And I haven't made any effort to look into it. And also, I'm not sure if some of them are only available on Android, on Apple, and I'm Android. But I will have a look at that, mate, if I can. And if it does work, maybe I'll do something on it, if I get around to it. But thanks for the tip anyway, like, you know. Smart Bomb says in the US you pay at the pump. You just put your card and pay at the pump. You can do that here. Certain petrol stations, particularly a lot of the Asda ones, the 24-hour Asda ones, are, you know, card only. You go in, put your card in, pay, and off you go. And it is a lot more convenient. No queuing, no messing around, no waiting for someone to buy biscuits. Bob Keane says he doesn't mind the shop. He says, because I'm wandering around the shop, there's stuff to look at. Ooh, grab myself some Foxy's Originals, kind of thing. He says it's the filling up that he does his head in. Now, I don't know with the truck pumps, I guess he might be in a truck or something like that. You can click them, so you just put them up and click them. Or just stay, because there's a big tank. He says, I can stand there for what seems like 10 minutes. He said they should put viewing screens on the pumps. They can show videos. They can show my videos. That would stop people buying diesel. But yeah, he said, or just something to do while you're filling up. Okay, it's an interesting point. You know, petrol people out there, think on. Maybe put TVs on the pumps for the truck drivers. Might be nice. We got Stephen By says, oh, BP shut the toilets during the lockdown. He says they're not getting my money now. Fair enough. Your choice. And Dave the Crisp and Impeccables said, yeah, what's with tomato sauce on the all-day breakfast? Should be brown sauce. I know, right? What are they doing? Brown sauce every time. Tomato sauce on burgers. The only time I don't like tomato sauce is sacrilege. The only time I ever have tomato sauce is on burgers or like hot dogs. We have tomato sauce and mustard sauce, like McDonald's. And it's got to be Heinz tomato ketchup and Coleman's mustard. None of this messing around, generic, trendy stuff that my wife keeps buying, but because it comes with, it's in a bottle with a nice label. It's not as good. It tastes like vinegar. Get rid of it. Bring the Hellmann's in. You know, Hellmann's, Heinz, proper stuff. Dolly Dalton, hello again. They run 10 vans, and they say, and she's, Dolly, by the way, I don't know if you're a man or a woman. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just my name was called Dolly, Dorothy, or it might just be some like Dolvinda or something like that. Just let me know either way, would you? It doesn't matter. I'm just curious. Yeah, she said the drivers fill up overnight for 2 reasons. Firstly, so that you can see how much fuel they've used during the day, so it helps you cost and work out how much they're running. Very sensible. And secondly, for what I said, I think it's just really annoying. Do you know what's really annoying? Is when you jump in a van in the morning and it's got no diesel in it. You know, first thing I've got to do is go to a petrol station. You know, it's kind of inconsiderate. Bring back the full tank, eh? What else we got there? That comes at the end. Right. Does the CX post jobs on the exchange? Which we now know it doesn't. Bob Keane again. Starting off the bidding with, it's basically an interface between the drivers and shippers, like the King of Denmark, the Bluetooth guy. I mentioned Bluetooth in the video, I forgot I'd even done it, but he was Harold Bluetooth something or other, which is that symbol, it's something to do with the King of Denmark, who apparently, you know, sort of unified Norway, Sweden, all that. So it's kind of bringing people together, drawing a comparison there. I kind of think that like Alexander the Great, you know, conquered the world, turned up, said, there you go, there's roads, there's sewage, there's better food. Don't have to do anything. Carry on regardless. Just wear your allegiance to Rome, and then disappeared off. And then we decided that was a bad idea. What have the Romans ever done for us, eh? Lee Westcott says, better calling direct. Lee Westcott and Craig Bonder say there's no excuse for middlemen taking a car. You'd be better off calling them direct. That's a lovely idea, but the problem is, how do you know who to call? So I mean, I've driven to Bournemouth. And now I need someone to bring back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring someone in Bournemouth and see if they want something taken back to Dunstable. Well, how do you know who to call? This is why you pay for the CX. Knowledge is power. If I, for example, someone comes to me on the market or something like that and say, look, I'm going to need like 1,000 t-shirts, but I don't want to pay the you know, like the price you're at £1. I want to pay a wholesale price. I would direct them to someone who's selling t-shirts, but I'd still want my cut out of it. I go, well, okay, well, I can get them at 75 pence. I was buying them at 65 pence. Or I go and buy myself and deliver them. But that is, you know, and also you've got to bear in mind the CX is running an office and is running a computer system and there is costs involved in their side of things. So basically you are paying a middleman to get a job. But I'd rather pay a middleman and have a job coming back than not have a middleman and not have a job coming back. I mean, like I say, in an ideal world, you just know where to go, but you don't. C. Moody said, C. Moody and Sam Clark have both said, would I still recommend drivers join a CX? And Sam Clark says, can you earn around £500 to £700 a week in a long wheelbase Sprinter? I did a job yesterday. I did a video yesterday telling you, outlining my week as it stands. I might do a few more of them because they seem to be popular, if I've got time, guys. The short answer is, right, I never recommend anyone to join a CX. All I will tell you is, and this has actually become like a line now, it's not a magic wand. No one's going to deliver a load of money to your door. You get out what you put in. And it doesn't work for everybody. It depends where you are in your end, but it has worked for me. I've been doing it for 2 years now. It saved my life, which is a bit over dramatic, but honestly, I was about to lose my house, potentially lose my marriage. Everything was really horrible in here. Bless her, she's lovely, but she's had to put up a load of stuff. If you ever get around to reading the book, it's on from the end screen, where I might stick a thing up to the website there. You'll find out what I've had to put what went on a few years ago. It was a shocker. But it has worked for me. Would I recommend you join it? I'd say it depends on what situation you're in. I've had people ring me up. I had a guy ring me up. He's starting with us next week, actually. Good luck, my friend, my Blackpool friend out there. He was driving trucks for ages. He said, I'm just delivering a load of steel. He said, I'm absolutely sick of it. As my mate Nigel says, you only get one ticket to the gun show. If you're miserable and you hate your life and you fancy a change and you watch my videos and you think I fancy a bit of that, you could do worse. If you do it, I wish you good luck. Would I recommend it? I can't really. I don't know your situation. And I wouldn't, in all good faith, would not recommend something. You know, you might have a family, you might have children, you might have responsibilities. For me to turn around and go, yeah, come on, it's brilliant. And you go, no, it's not as it's cracked up to be. I couldn't do it. So I don't know. But like I say, it worked for me. You watch the videos, you know the score. Good luck. Did a video on Jessica. Gareth Vickers is looking forward to the big reveal. Big reveal coming next week, mate. And Donkey and Digger. And also Timmerkill said, do you let fork truck drivers drive on your tail lift, or do you get them to put the pallet on the tail lift? Right, good question. The long and short of it is, sometimes you've got to let them drive on. I'm going to try and do you a video. I'm trying to do it this week. I guarantee at some stage I'm going to be picking up a pallet, and I'll just, even if I don't have to, I might demonstrate it because the noise is a bit, but I'll go through that. I think that's worth a dedicated video, so I'll do my best for you guys, see if I can get that one out this week. Miscellaneous already? Must be. Yep, miscellaneous. Oh, that's good. Right. Longfinger. Hello again, mate. How you doing? He said his uncle works in Shell, and he says if you're using supermarket fuel, put a decent tank in, use a BP or a Shell once every 3 tanks. So I think that's good advice, actually. I just use the BP because I use BP card. I know I'm not getting as cheap as possible, but I think it's good for the engine and it's convenient. I'm too lazy to chase the damn thing because they're not giving me the right price on the fuel cards, even though I did a video for them. Gits. Steve Campbell says supermarkets can sell cheaper because they've got a higher turnover. That's possibly true too. You just don't know, do you? You put the fuel in, it goes. Turn the key in, it goes. But I think it would be wise to put either. Ian. What's his name? Sorry, Ian. He's done a lot of stuff into this about additives and stuff like that. If you look back through some of the other Sunday Q&As, but it's just something I don't know. I can't quantify it, so I don't want to give anyone advice I can't do. That I'm not sure of. Ian Dunwar, what do the CEX class as long wheelbase vans? Now, I've done a video on this before, so there you go. But the long and the short of it, rule of thumb: small van, box; short wheelbase, 1 pallet; medium wheelbase, 2 pallets; long wheelbase, 3 pallets; extra long wheelbase, 4 pallets; Luton box, 5 pallets; Luton curtain side, 6 pallets, because you can get it through the other side, not through the back door. That's not perfect, but it's a general rule of thumb, and it kind of stands. Steve Weldron is watching from Australia. I did say he was the furthest away. I believe you're probably the winner there, sir. What's the CX like out of Aberdeen? If you're going to come out of Scotland, Aberdeen's the best place to come out of. Scotland is generally quiet, but you'd probably get jobs out of Aberdeen, maybe going south, and then maybe, yeah, like I say, if you're going to be anywhere in Scotland, it's the best place to be. From the point of view, not from the point of view of, scenery or whiskey or tourist attractions, but from the point of view of getting CX jobs. Lee Westcott says, the bear in the shed. What about Little Pete? The thing is, I can't have him called off the meat. It's just got a bit of a Frank Sidebottom thing going on there, hasn't it, really? And it always troubled me. There was there used to be a supermarket called Frank's opposite us when I used to work Queen's Crescent on the markets. And the old man was called Frank, and his son was called Frank, and then he had a son, and they called the son Frank. And I said, why are you all called Frank? I mean, isn't it really confusing? Frank, there's someone on the phone for you. Well, there's like 3 people going, well, which Frank is it? And he went, it was when he gets old enough, we'll be able to share the driving points if we get any. What a wonderful legacy to leave your newborn son. Hello, Frank. bringing you into the world, and when you're old enough, you'll be able to take my convictions for me. I don't know if that was the real reason. I think he might have been having me on, but I hope so. Also, I think it was, what's his name? No, forgotten. Sorry, your man always comments all the time. He said, what about Vincent for the bear? Well, bearing in mind that the firm is called Van Gogh, Vincent Van Gogh, because the pun that used to go along with it is if you need a van, we got one here. Got one here? It's a rubbish pun. Maybe. Vincent's kind of work in progress. We might call him Vincent Van Gogh. May change, may not. Steve Campbell, good luck with the result of the incident. Police have been involved now. He had a bit of a bother when a geezer behind him sort of threatened him when he was trying to deliver for the Amazon thing. His son's going to college now as a result of which. Well, I suppose that's good news, mate. If any silver line's got to come out of it, that's kind of cool, isn't it? And he's currently driving around in a 7.5-ton DAF with a curtain side, which is of particular interest to me, which we will find out next week why on the big reveal. I'm building this up to something. It's not that exciting. Oh, yeah, and he smashed his wing mirror up in Battersea. Sorry to hear about that. They're quite big, them wing mirrors, aren't they? I wonder how dear they are. Find that out too one day. Trucker Chris. He was with Skipton's, didn't get on with them. So he went over to a firm called Apollo Finance. If you don't, like I say, try them all. The firm I was using, Castle, originally, I found out this week, are closed. Presumably to do with the lockdown and all that, they've gone bust. So swerved that bullet there. But, he said afterwards, he said, didn't get with Skipton's, but he said afterwards, we had a little chat about it and we both agreed that they could have tried a bit harder. But yeah, there's Apollo Finance, there's Skipton's, go with anybody, mate, I don't mind. Racing Snake, thanks very much for the link to the sat-navs. I've been trying that Road Lords thing, and it's kind of okay, and sometimes it beats Amazon, and then it drops an absolute clanger. I mean, the fact they kept trying to pull me off the motorway was my fault because I'd done something wrong in the settings. But then the other day it says, we found something 1 minute quicker. Would you like to go this way? I was like, yeah, all right then. And it took me down this route, whereas even on the map it said 6'6" restrictions, 6'6" restrictions. And I've set it up for the fact that although I'm driving a van that can get through 6'6", I've set it up for the fact I'm 7 foot to test it. And it took me over the smallest bridge and down the windest road, and I went, oh no, that's rubbish. No, that's no good at all. So the next course of action is, I've looked into it, Copilot on the phone, they want £85 a year. Well, I don't want to pay yearly. You've either got Garmin or you've got TomToms, 350 quid a hit. The next best ones, it's like these gym ways on Amazon, and they're about 50, 70 quid, or Oligo, or, Wugahumphtema sat-navs. They've got some really bizarre name, which I don't even know how to pronounce. But I might give one of them a go, because they're kind of cheaper. So, but we'll see. Again, I'm mean. Get onto that one. Addy, the real Slim Addy, said Amazon vans get regularly stolen. And I thought, well, that doesn't actually surprise me. It's like, we've got a van that says on the side of it, we've got laptops. We've got really expensive stuff in here. We've got some rubbish in here too, sort of like scratches for your hair, but we've got laptops. It's a bit like, when you drive down the motorway, you never see a truck transporting cigarettes. They might advertise all kinds of things on the side of trucks. Krispy Kreme, donuts, Domino's. You never see one with Marlboro on the side of it. That could be to do with advertising laws, or it could be to do with the fact that you don't advertise the fact that you've got millions of pounds worth of gear in the back of your van. So, don't know about that one. But yeah, it's just an extra grief you don't need for running on the Amazon, isn't it, really? Lewis Gates says, oh yeah, we spoke during the week. About a long wheelbase. Does the equipment you carry have an extra impact on the weight? Not so much. You carry a little toolkit, don't weigh much. Carry a bottle jack, doesn't weigh much. Sack barrow, doesn't weigh much. Removal blankets, don't weigh much. The two biggest things that you want to carry that weigh stuff is if you've got a Luton with a tail lift, you want a pallet truck. If you haven't got a tail lift, there's no point in having a pallet truck. And it's better, because it's just less grief. But yeah, no, most of the equipment don't weigh much, mate, to be honest with you. So, Lee Harris, my views on breakdown services. He says, if you mention couriers, they tend to be very, not very happy about it. I get the AA through my bank account. With Lloyds, I get a Premier bank account, and for 21 quid a month, I get the AA, free travel insurance, free card insurance, and 6 cinema tickets. I think it's a decent deal, because I think if you ring the AA on your own, for the cover that I'm getting is actually dearer than the bank account. Obviously, it doesn't stand for you if you get bigger vehicles. If you do, after you go over like 3.5 tonne, and they've recovered me more than once in a big Luton. So it's not even like, oh, they turned up and gone, no, you're not covered for this, mate. I'm covered. I think I'm covered for anything by Europe. home start, breakdown, recovery, the whole lot, which I think is a decent deal. The one thing I will say is if you have to go separate, and don't say you're a courier, tell them you're in haulage, because you kind of are in haulage. You say, well, I'm in light haulage, because there's a difference between like hire and reward, which is like, oh, Jesus, and driving up and down the motorway delivering pallets. So that's what I would say if it helps. Dave Tutt, does Jessica have air conditioning? Kind of. She's got 2 buttons on the side there. One of it is to put it down like, you know, the air conditioning on half, or if I want it on full, I open both the windows. Not really. Air conditioning, I just open a window. It's fine. It's not that hot here, you know, and it affects your petrol. But again, I guess if I had it, I might use it. Bob Keane, hello again. He says, the things that I want to add are a big thermos and some spring-loaded ratchets. I like my little Tommy Tippy cups, mate. I've got nowhere to put them in the big reveal, but we'll go through that on Monday. But maybe Monday. But the spring-loaded ratchets I'm incredibly interested in. Not sure what the spring-loaded ratchets are. I mean, I've got the big 5-ton ratchet straps that have got a spring, but yeah, I need to know a bit more about them. Please comment. I'm sure you will. I hope so. Dolly Dalton, hello again. Yes, she had a problem, or she had a problem, sorry, Dolly. Had a problem with the job being sent straight through. Now, I'm going to do a video on this because this happened to us, and we actually got negative. I've never been given negative feedback for anything I've ever done, but the firm has been given negative feedback 3 times in our history. Once or twice. Once was sort of debatable. Once we had to put our hands up. The driver mucked up and he didn't know any better, so it was kind of our fault for not getting in contact with him. But once, in this particular instance, I think it was outrageous. But we'll do a video for you. Do it this week. And once again, thank you and welcome to the channel. Jamie Yip, am I on a flat rate VAT? No. We're just on a normal VAT thing. Although I think the flat rate VAT does actually work out quite well. If you can do it, it takes a load of the aggravation away. Just we're not on it. So, and that is pretty much all of it. Yes, final word goes to Bob Keane again. He says, guy walks into a petrol station and he says, I'll have one of them tokens for the air for me tyres, please. And a woman says, 20 pence. He says, 20 pence? He says, only 10 pence last week. She went, well, that's inflation for you. And he said, if I didn't do the joke as a final conclusion, he'd unsubscribe. So your wish is my command. Guys, that's it again. Thanks very much for all your comments. Thanks very much for listening. Hope you're well. And I hope you take care. Take money.